What's happening, people, and welcome back to the Tiki Taka podcast. We're going to hear hot takes, unbiased opinions, and hopefully have a couple laughs along the way. And if you clicked on this video, you know by the title, this is the North London Derby preview. Arsenal going away from home, going to Tottenham with the title on the line. If we're being 100% real, title on the line. If Arsenal go there and win, a lot of Arsenal fans, a lot of like neutral fans saying that Arsenal go and win the league. If they go there and win, if they go there and lose, then the league might be done. Probably is done.
Yeah, even a draw.
Yeah, even if they go there and draw, so it's really a must-win for Arsenal. And yeah, what are your thoughts on the game? Like,
Nah, this is the biggest North London derby we've ever had. Like, well, not ever, but for the last 15 years, 20 years, or however long it's since we've been in title talks and we needed to win. Because I do legitimately think, and I do think the title's like done to a certain extent. Like, I'm more hoping and praying City drop games than seeing where they can drop games. But you know, a draw kills Manchester City in the sense of like it's back in our hands. Yeah. So, with that being said, if Arsenal win, I think this is our last tough fixture. And like, if we win, we should win the remaining 3 games or 4 games or whatever it is.
Yeah, but Arsenal's record at OT, we can't joke with that.
No, Arsenal's record at OT, you can't joke about it. But I think if for example, we go to OT,
I agree with you.
And City have dropped points, and like it's one of those ones where we win at OT, and we have Everton at home to clinch the title.
Yeah,
like we should
go there and chef you back twice.
Yeah, but this game, I'm not gonna lie, man, it's big, it's huge, and it's one of those ones where form goes out the window. All of those cliches come into play. Tottenham haven't played in 2 weeks. We've played 3-4 days ago.
Do you think that helps them?
It's one of like there should be a little bit of not rust, but like rust. They haven't played in 2 weeks.
Match
fitness, match tempo. But I also think that
they've got the energy.
Yeah, they've got the energy.
Arsenal have played 4 games since Tottenham last played.
It's too tough to say, actually.
Well, what do you think about Arsenal's approach to this game? Do you think Arsenal should approach this game with pressing high?
Arsenal should
Tottenham play.
Oh no, Arsenal should play their game.
But that changes depending on the opposition, right?
Yeah.
Like with recent, especially in this title running, I think there's been certain games where Mikel's been a bit more conservative, so to speak, in terms of like letting the players kind of save their energy a bit. In the Wolves game, I wouldn't say we were pressing consistently from the front.
Yeah.
I think in the Brighton game, there were large parts of that game where Arsenal were happy to sit in their shape.
I think we should press high up the pitch because Tottenham can give it away up there. Romero's not the best on the ball. Yeah, Udogi's out, so it's going to be Ben Davies or Emerson Royale or whoever it is. And if the lineup involves Son being up top as a central striker, I think Gabriel and Saliba can handle that on a man v man.
You force them to play long.
Yeah, and you force them to play long on a man v man thing. I think they should be able to handle that. So, especially if Partey and Rice play, you should have the physical strength as well as sort of the actual sort of speed and power to press them up the pitch and not worry about the long ball too much going over the top and Son latching onto things. And if Richarlison plays, it's a little bit of a different story.
But
I still think you should handle it, but he does have some pacing, some pacing behind that you need to.
He won't make it easy.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
In possession, so you said you think Arsenal should go there and press high. In possession, do you think Arsenal should be trying to play out from the first minute?
Maybe not the first minute.
Do you think David Raya on goal kicks should be getting the ball from Gabriel and picking it?
I think for the first 10 minutes, we should be going long. We should be doing some territory thing.
100%.
We should be playing the game in their half.
Knock it to Kai Havertz.
Yeah,
get bodies around.
Exactly. Knock it to Kai Havertz. Get the second ball.
Because that stadium, that atmosphere, that intensity, they're going to be up.
If we pass around the back and Raya hits one out of
once, even if they don't score,
they're going to be even. I was going to say even if Raya, if you pass around the back and it gets to Raya's getting pressed, he hits it out of play for safety. that will get them
The
up.
cheer,
Yeah, that will get them involved. That will get the players thinking, oh yeah, they're not on it. Something can happen. They're tired, whatever. So go long. Let Havertz win the second ball. Sorry, let Havertz win the first ball. Get players around him to win the second ball. Just play in their half, and then once we've established our sort of rhythm and we're a good team, then
once it's kind of
then you can start popping it around the back, going short and building from back to front. But to answer your initial question, like the magnitude of the game cannot be understated. I don't know who's more nervous, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to say this. A lot of people, and I think it would be right to say that there's more pressure on Arsenal.
There's more pressure on Arsenal,
of course.
But I don't know who's more nervous.
They're going for the title, and because they're going for the title with Man City, they have to go there and win. But for Tottenham fans will put as much pressure on their team
as we will,
as they will, as everyone is putting on Arsenal.
Yeah.
Rival fans of all other clubs and Arsenal fans putting that pressure on Arsenal, but Tottenham fans will put that level of pressure because this is potentially Tottenham's biggest game in their Premier League history.
Tottenham have a lot on the line for this game as well.
Right.
I was just looking at the table.
This is Tottenham's cup final. This is what Tottenham fans dream of. They dream of having the chance to stop Arsenal winning a trophy. That is their biggest aspiration, and they have the chance to do it in this game. They have the chance to stop Arsenal, and their fans are not gonna want Arsenal. Because I tell you what, if Arsenal come away with 3 points, I guarantee you there will be some fans that start questioning Ange. And that's how big this game is. Yeah. And Ange, in my opinion, has done a great job at Tottenham.
But I was going to say,
this game,
it's going to be a bit of both. It's going to be a bit of losing to Arsenal will sting. But if they lose this game, what it does for them in the table, like they're 6 points behind Villa now. They've got 2 games in hand on Villa.
And Villa play before them.
Yeah. So whatever happens in that Villa game, but if it's going to be a combination of if they lose to Arsenal and aid Arsenal potentially getting a title and miss out on top 4 in the same sort of...
Some fans have said they don't care about missing out on top 4.
I know they say that because Ange just said that.
They win this game.
They say that because Ange just said that. But I think, especially now that 5th doesn't get you whatever, to miss out on top 4 to Aston Villa. Not that Aston Villa are a bad team.
But what Tottenham fans are saying, they would rather win this game and miss out on top 4. They've said that.
And I know, but this is to the point of what you were saying about goalposts changing. Tottenham at the beginning of the season weren't top 4 candidates, And then at some point in the season, it was like, oh yeah, have to get top 4. Have to get top 4. We've been playing so well. If you miss out to Aston Villa, I don't think Tottenham fans can say, oh, Villa were always meant to get top 4. They were a better team than us. They were this, they were that. No, you guys are roughly about equal. You have, if anything, you have more of the experience.
Had the best start they've ever had.
Yeah, even when you beat Villa 5 match weeks ago, you had you lost the next week to Fulham 3-0, but you had a chance to really twist the knife, put a nail in the coffin, cement yourself for a top 4. If Ange's going to do anything, be anything other than just a hipster, it starts off by getting Champions League qualifications, getting some money into the club, getting some respect beyond just we're always going to be a nearly team. So I think there is a lot on the line, man. I think, yes, they don't want to lose to Arsenal, but they definitely don't want to come away with nothing, 0 points, and another game played. And another game. They would.
That's the one thing. I've seen Tottenham fans say already they'll take a draw.
Yeah, I was gonna say they would take a draw.
Yeah.
And I don't think any Arsenal fan should take a draw. They would take a draw before a ball is kicked. But honestly, I think as every Arsenal fan should be going into this thinking, if we do our stuff, if we play our ball, Tottenham can't touch. Even in the first leg or the very first fixture this season, I think we shot ourselves in the foot rather than Tottenham came into the game to win it.
Yeah, because Gabriel Jesus missed that chance.
Even Saka was poor on that Maddison stuff. You should just show him out.
And obviously Jorginho got robbed, but they did stun us in that first game.
They played better than I thought.
I was there, and it didn't. I thought they played pretty well in that game, and they also it also kind of looked a bit like Arsenal weren't prepared for how Tottenham were gonna play.
Yeah.
Which I think obviously Andrew just come into the league. I think that was maybe the 6th game of the season or something.
Yeah, it's always early.
He hadn't really his style of play, his football hadn't really been analyzed, so to speak, by the analysts that they have at the club and whatever. But I think this time round, Arteta will have a plan. Ange might have a plan to counteract them, whatever. But I think we all know Ange. We all know he plays his way, no matter what the game, no matter what the occasion. He'll play his style of football.
Do you think he stays with that high line stuff?
Yeah. Ange will. I think if he's done it at the Etihad and he's done it against Liverpool and he's done it against every team, he's done it at St James's Park. That's his style of football. I think even Celtic fans, when Tottenham were saying, "Oh, we're going to the Etihad, we need to drop this line and whatever," I think even Celtic fans were saying, "No, Ange won't do that. Like, Ange will just play his style of football in every game." So I don't think he's going to change. And I think if he does change it, obviously after the game you can say, "Oh, masterclass" and whatever if they come out with a win. But I think it's a big risk to go and change your whole system.
But they've had 2 weeks to work on it.
34 games to now come and play this in the biggest game of the season.
Yeah,
I think that is a massive risk to change your style of play. I think if anything, Arteta, and that's why I was asking about Arsenal's approach. I think if anything, Arteta might adapt the style a bit, and I'm almost kind of hoping that he sits in a bit and allows Tottenham to kind of, like you say, go long in the first 15. Then start to play your stuff. But when Tottenham have possession, we've seen all season that Tottenham can struggle to break down low blocks. And I think against Chelsea, there's one of the things I said to you at half time. I was like, if we show a bit more energy, if we like really go and press them, we can take this game away from them. I think in that first half in particular, Arteta kind of looked at the fact that Chelsea struggled all season breaking down low blocks. You know that's a thing that they really find hard to do.
Yeah.
And when Chelsea had the ball, how many times did we see Badiashile and Disasi having some time to pass to each other?
Yeah.
But they weren't penetrating. They weren't coming through. I'm kind of hoping Arteta does the same thing and allows Tottenham to like try and say, okay, yeah, come and break us down. And we've got our defensive shape. We've got our defensive structure. Hopefully Rice and Partey, and we can hit them on the break.
The way I'd see it is I agree with that. But and Wivey was telling me this because obviously he was working at the stadium, but he was like, yo, Tottenham almost never score in the first half. Like they almost give you the first half and then try and recoup the result in the second half. I would love to try and use that to our advantage, and this is especially at home. I would love to get a goal. Obviously, this is dream case scenario. If we get a goal in the first half, your game plan, it works perfectly. Yeah, because we can just be solid, be rigid.
And the other part of my game plan, we know what Vicario's like on corners.
Yeah, and that's how the second.
We know what Arsenal are. So we go 1-0 up, Gabriel set piece, and then we play that way. I think it could work.
I would love Arsenal though to put the onus, like to pressure Tottenham in the first half and not try and like come out with a 0-0 of like, yeah, we played well in the first half, but it's 0-0. We'll take that and see what we can do. I would love Arsenal to put it on Tottenham, to a certain extent, responsibly, but put it on Tottenham in the first half, because I truly think if we get goal in the first half, the second half will, not that they will crumble or anything, but that low block that will get on them. They won't. I don't think they'll be able to mentally break that.
In the stadium,
I don't think they'll mentally be able to get over that hurdle once Gabriel and Saliba start heading everything away. Once Rice starts, getting his legs on everything. Whereas I do think their nerves could build if we go with 0-0 at half time and reach 70th minute and we haven't scored, and then we start saying, "Oh, we're in last goal wins territory." Like whoever scores first sort of picks up all the points. I would hate to be in that scenario. I'd take it if Arsenal score at 80th minute, 90th minute dagger, of course. But I would love us to put it on Tottenham in the first half, get a goal, go in 1-0 up, whatever it is, even if it's 1-1, I guess. But I would love us to score in the first half, because that way I know, all right, they're gonna have to react. They're gonna have to do something. And it brings me actually onto the lineups. Because
quickly before we get into start, because we've spoken a bit about how Arsenal can play and how Arsenal might win the game. Where do you think the game can be won and lost from a Tottenham perspective?
From a Tottenham perspective, honestly, I think mentality. That's the biggest thing. Because Arsenal are going to try and have possession and get on the ball a bit and do things. And I just think, is Romero going to keep his head? Is whoever's going to be playing Bentancur, Basuma, whoever, are you guys going to keep your heads? Because if you start running...
They need Basuma to have a big game.
Yeah, and if Basuma gets on an early yellow and can't necessarily make challenges as the game gets stretched, if Romero gets on an early yellow and can't necessarily make challenges as the game gets stretched, I think that is more likely to be where I think Tottenham will lose it, even more so than any sort of position on the pitch. I just think their mentality going, it could potentially all be too much. So much pressure on the game. Fans want them to win. Tottenham need it for top 4. And I remember that Tottenham Chelsea game when there is a lot of pressure and a lot of passion, and Romero starts flying into balls are flying everywhere. Romero's flying into challenges. Basuma's flying into challenges. Like, if Tottenham want to play that game, I think they could.
But they should have blitzed Chelsea in that first.
Should have. And then look, you start getting men sent off. You start playing within yourself because you got yellow cards. If Davis, or Emerson Royale, loses his first sort of exchange with Saka and gets an early yellow, I think that will really sort of dictate, because Partey will take it. You'll take advantage of that. He'll give Saka the one-on-ones.
I think from the Tottenham perspective, obviously looking at it as an Arsenal fan, but even so, if it's Werner and Johnson, I don't see them causing us too many problems in wide areas.
Yeah.
But I think if Maddison starts getting on the ball and Son starts peeling off and Son can play facing the goal rather than back to goal, I think that's where the issues are going to come. And the main thing is, with Maddison and Son, there's 2 players there that have the individual quality to do something special, which the North London derby usually throws up. Danny Rose with his goal, Thomas Rosicky with the goal he scored, Alexis Sanchez with goals that he scored, like Harry Kane. Like, the North London derby has that ability. It's why people love the game, or neutrals love the game, whatever. Maddison and Son could come up with something and do something. So I think from a Tottenham perspective, they have to come and play their way. They have to come and stick it on Arsenal, because that will get the crowd up, that will get the fans up. And Arsenal have to make sure that in that first 10, 15 minutes, they have to learn the lessons from Liverpool. In that Merseyside derby, win their duels, win their battles, and make it. And then after that first 15 minutes, like you say, if there's the opportunity to go and play after that, go and play. But in terms of the starting 11, from the Tottenham perspective, I think Pape Sarr will be in because they'll need the legs. Standard back 4, probably Ben Davies at left back, or maybe Emerson Royale. They've said Porro's fit. It'll be probably Timo Werner and then Brennan Johnson or Kulu. Could be either of them. And obviously Son and Maddison will play. But from the Arsenal perspective, it's got to be the same team as Chelsea.
That's what I thought up until literally probably about 5 minutes ago, where I was like, but you know what? That high line and Martinelli. And I know we've done this all season with Martinelli, of saying this is a Martinelli game, this is a Martinelli game, this is a Martinelli game. And Trossard has done nothing to not deserve a start, But I think it is just that of, if they are going to play a high line, why not play the guy who can run for 70 minutes and have the quality to finish, but obviously the pace to harass on the press, the threat to stretch him behind. And sometimes the threat alone, and he's on Porro's side, sometimes the threat alone is enough to sort of open up things in the middle. Porro's hesitation,
Romero,
exactly. Any sort of hesitation,
So you would start Martinelli?
I'm leaning, and Martinelli is not in form, as I say, but I'm probably leaning towards it now just because of that.
It's harsh on Trossard.
It's very, very, very harsh on Trossard.
I think if Arteta plays the way that I'm hoping we play, I think Martinelli should start. Right? If you're going to sit in and play on that counter-attacking option,
the pace.
But I don't think Arteta is going to do that. That's just me, kind of wanting to be a bit pragmatic and not wanting it to be a basketball game, which obviously Arteta doesn't want it to be. But I think if he goes with the high press and stuff, it could become.
Porro's gonna go up. Like, someone's gonna have to.
I think if Arsenal get that chance, and like you say, you want Arsenal to score in the first half or be 1-0 up, I think the only way that happens is if that chance falls to Trossard.
Yeah.
Because Trossard's the guy. You said it on our weekly roundup that when Trossard was in that, you had no doubt.
Yeah, I had no doubt he was going to score.
Right, and Martinelli, especially last season in particular, was cold in front of a goal.
Yeah.
And we know he can be cold in front of a goal, but like you said, he's not in form.
But I think if
that chance falls to Trossard,
I think if Arteta is going to fall back on his big six formula, the Trossard 20-minute cameos, if it's a 1-1, whatever the score is, if it's 0-0, 70th minute, I want to Trossard on the pitch. Bring him on. Yeah.
I also think that if Trossard starts,
he could end the game early.
He's just as likely as Martinelli to rip Porro. it'll just look different.
It will look different. It will look different.
The Trossard drop the shoulder, spin this way, spin that way. Porro's gonna fall for that.
Yeah, but I can see a very naive Porro being like, oh, we're in the ascendancy first 10, 15 minutes. Like we're getting
forwards.
Yeah, exactly. Balls seem to be breaking our way, whatever. And then Gabriel wins a header. Partey plays a slick ball to Odegaard, and then we're in a situation where Martinelli's already bombing it down the wing. Porro, as we say, is nowhere to be seen. And it's one of those ones, the square ball to Saka, square ball to Havertz, square whatever. And I think if they are going to play that high line, like the Isak goals, like just have somebody who you can not even, we don't really lump it up, but as I say, the threat of that alone, the hesitation of Van de Ven or Romero thinking, oh, where is Porro versus Martinelli? It can cause so much trouble for Tottenham.
I agree.
And
but I would go with the same team.
Everything else for me stays the same.
Yeah.
And if he starts Trossard, I won't have any complaints.
Yeah.
If he starts Martinelli, I won't have any complaints. Trossard deserves it. It's just what he's thinking about that high line and how he's trying to play. Because I think if Arteta's going to go there and not play, sort of a defensive shape, but if he's going to go there and try and do the Chelsea thing of like, let's get on the ball, let's move it around a bit, then I think, all right, you'll play Trossard, because if you get him in the pockets, it's murder. It's just how much he's going to respect Tottenham's thing, or how much he thinks our players are.
I think Trossard's fluidity, with Havertz and Saka at the minute as well,
he's in form.
Problems. But obviously, quickly, if Tottenham win, that's the biggest moment in that club's history. They will love it. They will celebrate it. They will sing about it. They'll make DVDs about it.
T-shirts.
The full shebang. And that's what their club is. Fair play to them. But if Arsenal win, before Man City go to Nottingham Forest, straight after that, what does that mean?
I think if Arsenal win, it really what it means is we can't be labelled as bottlers, even if we then go on to lose our next two games
at home to Bournemouth.
Yeah. Even if we go on to lose our next two games, I think just by virtue of beating Tottenham, away from home in a North London derby to make it 4 points over City at the time would show that this team has moved on from last year. And next season, they have to move away from, remember how it all fell apart last year? And, do you remember last year when this and this happened? And I think that's the biggest statement. If we beat Tottenham, it will just show that there's been progression. What fans want to say about what happened last year and no trophies and whatever, matter of fact, there's been progression. And the points that we picked up at this stage of the season, we were not picking up last year. Wolves, Chelsea, and the potential win at Tottenham did not happen last year.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest statement of it all. Yes, it means that we could potentially win the league. It means that who knows what happens in Nottingham Forest, Manchester City type of thing. But what I'll be taking away from a win at Tottenham is any narrative about bottling it, any narrative about this team potentially getting worse or moving backwards, or what we need to do to actually finally win the trophy. It's to the wayside for me. It's just progress.
Yeah, I agree. And I think obviously, like, there's ways you can lose a game, and in particular North London derby. But if Arsenal were to lose this game in an acceptable, well, it's never really acceptable to lose a North London derby kind of thing. But if they were to lose it like 2-1, Maddison wraps one in the top corner in the last minute or whatever, I wouldn't say Arsenal have bottled it. Right. Like that's just a tag that I would put on Arsenal for losing a North London derby away from home. Like some of the greatest Arsenal teams
have done that.
Potentially have done that, right? But I do think that if Arsenal win, not draw, but if they win that game, and we know from the City docs that have been released and stuff that, like, as much as these men say, I'm not focused on them or not watching the game, I didn't even know they're watching the game.
Yeah, they'll watch the game.
Right? They'll be on that bus to Nottingham. Right. And they'll be watching that game. And if they see that Arsenal have picked up 3 points, any matter, anyhow, if we pick up 3 points by a comfortable 2-0,
at least
a last minute
penalty,
goal, whatever it is, if they see that, because that is the game that
Everybody's expecting us.
Everyone is looking at in the run-in and saying this is where Arsenal will drop points.
Yeah.
Right? And Man City don't need us to drop any points.
Yeah.
Right? But
yeah, they don't want the pressure.
Exactly. They know that if we drop points in this game, they have that leeway
Yeah,
where they
yeah.
can drop points in a game. Right? If Arsenal win this game, those Man City players on that bus will think.
And Man City have to still go to Tottenham. So
yeah.
Look, obviously we're doing the Tottenham preview, but Tottenham have the biggest say in who wins the title. The biggest say.
And I think mentally that could do something to the Man City players. They might go and beat Nottingham Forest, but then Arsenal play first the week after. They go and play Bournemouth. If Arsenal keep doing their thing, Man City will know that they have to keep on rising. They have to keep on winning. They can't draw a game. I think mentally that might do something.
And who knows by the time Man City play Tottenham where they are in the top 4 race, and whether it's coming down to this like a point in this game, 3 points in this game guarantees you Champions League football. I don't care what Tottenham fans are trying to tell me. When you're this close to Champions League football, you have to want it. You have to.
No, but it's different for a club like Tottenham.
I don't care
because they're more obsessed with Arsenal not doing stuff than their own club doing stuff.
When you're this close to Champions League football, like
I agree with the point you're making, but you know I'm right.
Look, I know Tottenham have a small club mentality, like, but when you're this close to Champions League football, like
if you said to Bat, you could get Champions League football, but Arsenal win the league, or Arsenal don't win the league and you don't get Champions League.
Yeah,
you know what he's gonna.
I know he would take, but like if Tottenham find themselves in a position where they lose to us, and then they have to play City, and it's like, oh, we don't want to beat City and get Champions League football because we don't want Arsenal to win the league.
The players won't have that mentality.
Yeah, that's a real scary place to be as a fan.
But that's where they've been their whole lives.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's where they've been their whole lives.
You know, because the narratives that will be spun about,
they are.
The narratives that will be spun about Ange, the pressure will build on Ange. Say Ange bottles top 4 next season. Say Tottenham fans are thinking, oh, we're only going to miss out this year because he'll get it next year.
Yeah, but if they beat Arsenal and they miss out, do you think any Tottenham fan's going to give a fuck?
Tottenham are a funny club.
If they beat Arsenal and Arsenal don't win the league,
I'm just saying, Tottenham. I'm
not joking when I say that's
Tottenham
the biggest
players
moment in their club's history.
Tottenham fans, of course, you want to beat us. You've got to go. You've got to go for top 4, because it will revolutionize your whole Ange agenda and your whole what you want to do with Ange moving forward and the players Ange is going to bring in. You know Romero is not good enough. Yeah, you know Ben Davis is not good enough. Where do you think the money is going to come from to substitute?
You speak to some very reasonable Tottenham fans. I haven't met any Tottenham fans like this.
And Ange is playing it down. Oh yeah, it's not about top 4 for us. Come on, I know what you're doing. Ange. And I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing, but it's still, there's no excuse. Well, there is no excuse to not absolutely gun for top 4. Don't even come and tell me Villa. Your squad and Villa squad is so comparable. So it's all down to management. Yeah, who gets top 4 between yourself and Villa is all down to management. It's not about our X, Y, and Z players are better than our X, Y, and Z players. No. Go get your top 4. Go get your money. Go change the trajectory of your squad.
No, bro. From my point of view, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
But Tottenham fans are already saying if they beat Arsenal, play all the reserves in that Man City game.
That's crazy.
Right? Even if they lose to Arsenal.
That's crazy.
Right? But Man City are still on course to win the league. They'll tell you play all the reserves.
That's crazy.
And the Tottenham fans will genuinely believe that's what they want to happen.
That's crazy.
But that's just who they are. And that's why this game is massive.
Yeah,
for Arsenal, it's massive because they could potentially win the league. For Tottenham, it's massive because they could potentially stop Arsenal winning the league. And that's the levels between the two clubs. That's always been the levels between the two clubs, and it always will be. But
what do you think your prediction is then? Score prediction.
Well, I'm normally the pessimist. If Arsenal are going away from home in a big game, I'm normally predicting a draw at best.
So you're saying 1-1?
But this season that's changed.
The
Etihad, I told you I don't think we'll get beat, and we didn't get beat.
Yeah.
Old Trafford, Stamford Bridge. Obviously, we ain't done the Old Trafford prediction, but the Anfield was the only one where because obviously they are a very good team, and also it's Anfield and Arsenal's record there.
Yeah.
But the difference in this team now, and obviously this could all come back to bite me, but the difference in this team now is that I think the Bayern Munich game, and I've mentioned this to you off air. I know we lost that game in the Allianz, but the way we played gives me a lot of hope for this game, because the atmosphere in the Allianz that day is going to be basically what it's going to be on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was crazy in the Allianz. The German fans, the Munich fans were well up for it. And in the first 20, 25 minutes, Bayern didn't come and press us the way Tottenham will come and press us. But in that first 20, 25 minutes, Arsenal still controlled the ball. They weren't really threatening with their possession, but they controlled the ball. They quietened down that crowd. They made the atmosphere a bit less than it was at the start, and they dealt with it. So that gives me a bit of hope. And I also just think that in the difficult moments, this team, compared to any Arsenal team that I've watched consistently in my lifetime, or time supporting Arsenal, is that in the difficult moments, there's a defensive structure and there's players that you can rely
on.
Right.
So
if Tottenham get on top, I think Arsenal are going to go there, and I think Arsenal are going to win.
Score?
2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah.
2-0 Arsenal.
I think 2-0 is a sensible scoreline. I think Tottenham do get a penalty, though. So I think, I can personally see it ending sort of 2-1, 3-1. I think it'd be one of those games
where... So you think Arsenal are going to win?
Yeah. I think it'd be one of those games where, sort of we score 2 goals even, but 2-0 up, we're comfortable. It's kind of like the Liverpool thing last year. They're singing our praises. Tottenham get a sloppy goal back. Either a penalty, a Raya mistake, sort of Gabriel passes it back to Raya, who misses it, goes in the back of the net, and then we spend the last 10 minutes biting our fingernails about whether or not we're going to get all 3 points. Yeah. And then there's going to be a last minute, sort of 89, 98 minute Martinelli's through on goal.
Don't even speak that into existence, man.
It's going to be one of those ones. It's not going to be all plain sailing. I love and hate North London derbies, but it's such an emotional roller coaster. Yeah.
The North London derbies always throw out, there could be red cards.
It's such an emotional roller coaster.
Everything. And the one thing I will say about North London derby is that probably in the last 10 years or so, the home team usually wins.
Yeah.
Or the home team doesn't get beat. Obviously, last year it was a bit different. Yeah. Arsenal went to Tottenham and won, but that was the first time since 2014.
Bring back Hugo Lloris.
Yeah. So that's one thing you could say about the North London derby, is that the home team, the home fans, they give the team a lot of support, a lot of encouragement in the game. So that is, and obviously it's a North London derby, so I'm nervous, but I do think this Arsenal team will come out. And get
the last thing I'll say on the title race and this game is as I say, I really expect Man City to win their games, and I said that a couple of weeks ago, whatever, but the only glimmer of hope that Arsenal have, and the reason I say this Tottenham fixtures for both teams are so important, is because obviously we have the best Big Six record in the league, and Man City don't have the best Big Six record in the league. So kind of like as you're talking about Prem heritage, Liverpool's midfield can't win it. If it was to happen, it would only be because finally the one season Arsenal win the Big Six games, come up top trumps on the Big Six board, it is finally the difference.
Yeah.
To getting us over the line. Like, as I say, a draw would kill Man City. So say Man City finish with the Big Six record they have, including a draw with Tottenham away from home, we can finally be like, so that's the difference, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is it. Other than that, I think that's the only glimmer of hope that we're holding on to, is that Man City's Big Six record is consistent to what it's been this season and doesn't all of a sudden go back to what it's been last season or the seasons before, where they typically always come up top trumps in the Big Six table.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what we have. We have the Big Six record to cling on to. The fact that we've done well in Big Six games this year, and they've sort of been below par.
Yeah.
But that's our chance.
But yeah, man, look, you called it the biggest North London derby we've seen.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, and I think you'd be hard pressed to find one bigger than that. And obviously Arsenal going into the Lions Den, so
it's 10 times bigger than the North London derby 2 years ago when we was both. Yeah. We was both fans. And that was massive at the time.
That was huge.
I remember how nervous I was the whole week leading into it.
Yeah.
Going into kickoff, and then we was like 3 goals down before. Before half time, and just typical Arsenal. But it's 10 times bigger than that.
Make sure you guys are here Monday. Smash a like if you enjoyed the preview. Follow us on Spotify. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and we will be here on Monday for what could potentially be the most fun podcast we've had all season.
Yeah.
Or we might not even put one out.
A brutal
I'm joking.
end to the season.
Put one out, but yeah. Let us know what you think is going to happen in the North London derby. Arsenal fans, Tottenham fans, neutral fans. A lot of neutral fans seeming to think that Arsenal are going to go there and get the job done. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm looking forward to the game at least. That's one thing I can say.
Yeah.
Is that game 2 years ago, I was dreading it. I was like, this is just going to be a bit long.
Yeah.
Right. Rob Holding, no Tomiyasu, Cedric, Nuno Tavares, like no Ben White out of his hamstrings, El Neni.
Did Eddie start that game? He came on. He started.
I think Eddie started that game. Yeah. I was just thinking, this is going to be.
We had lost the week before to Newcastle, innit? Or we had lost
that was
afterwards.
after. Newcastle came after.
Oh my God.
Right. So, but I'm excited for this.
This is a different game. It's a different team.
It's a North London derby. There's nerves with that. Anything can happen, but I'm excited because the team has done that. So, yeah, man. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week. Peace.